We arrived 2 days before the wedding. A quiet invitation, a village no one talks about, a favor to Poirot from an old acquaintance. Senor Alvarez greeted us. His smile stretched too far. "This wedding will be the most beautiful thing you see in Spain," he said. Poirot nodded. I noticed his hands shook as he poured the tea. "Who's the bride?" I asked. "Lucia Morales, farmer's daughter, strong bloodline. And the groom?" "Carlos Perez, owns the southern almond groves." "Good match?" Alvarez blinked too fast. "Very good. Very, necessary." Poirot didn't smile. Necessary unions are rarely happy ones. That ended the small talk. We unpacked. Poirot laid out his grooming kit. I checked the invitation again. The ceremony was set for morning. That morning never came. The church bells rang, then stopped. Mid-note. A sound cut off. A boy ran down the lane, pale, shaking. "The bride," he stammered. "She's gone." Alvarez was already outside, his shirt buttons undone, sweat down his collar. "She left early," he said, "with a man." "Who?" Poirot asked. He hesitated, then said it too quickly. "Miguel Cañadas." I frowned. "Isn't that her cousin's husband?" Alvarez flinched. "Yes, it's shameful. The villagers are talking." Poirot stared at him. "They always talk." They were seen riding into the hills. Alvarez said, "No luggage, just a mule." "No note?" "Nothing." Poirot's voice sharpened. "Who saw them?" "Old man Tomas. He says they passed the olive grove at dawn." "What did she wear?" "A plain shawl, not her dress." Alvarez glanced toward the church. "I told you, she's run away. She shamed the family, but we must stay calm." Poirot raised an eyebrow. "Calm is suspicious, Senor Alvarez. You seem prepared." Alvarez's mouth tightened. "I don't know what you mean." "You will," Poirot said. Whispers circled the plaza. "Runaway bride. Cousin's man. Betrayal." Some laughed. Some crossed themselves. None looked surprised. Poirot whispered to me, "There is a line between escape and strategy. I want to know which one she chose." Before I could reply, we heard a scream. It came from the hill. Sharp, followed by silence. Then a man's voice cracking with panic. "They've found Carlos." Carlos Perez lay flat on his back, eyes half shut, suit stained, crimson tie, torn sleeve, blood on his chest. A guard stood nearby. No one touched him. We waited. Poirot didn't answer. He crouched beside the body, studied, measured, did not blink. I stepped closer. No bruises, no broken ground, no struggle, nothing disturbed, but something felt off. "The earth's dry," I said. Poirot pointed. "Left heel. Mud." I checked again. Clear smear. Damp. "But the soil here's dust." "Precisely." Poirot's voice was low. "Which means Ias walked through mud. Somewhere else. Or was dragged. Or carried," Poirot said. I turned. Several villagers watched from a distance. One man whispered, "Murder." Another spat and walked off. A younger guard approached, held out something in his handkerchief. "Found it over there." A silver watch chain, snapped at one end. No watch. "Does the victim wear one?" Poirot asked. The guard shook his head. "Not on him." "Then why remove it?" "Robbery?" Poirot didn't respond. He looked at the trees, at the neat clothing, at the empty space around the body. No drag marks, no blood trail. The mud still bothered me. "You think he died somewhere else?" "Not yet." Footsteps, sharp, clicking heels. A woman appeared. Rosa Cañadas, Miguel's wife, Lucia's cousin. She wore black, not mourning, just black. Hair pulled tight, face calm. She walked up, stopped, looked at Carlos, didn't blink. "He was proud," she said. "Too proud." "You knew him well?" Poirot asked. "Well enough." She crouched next to the body, too close, too still. Did you see him today? No. Her voice didn't move. I was home. Alone? Yes. Poirot tilted his head. You aren't shocked. She looked at him, eyes sharp. I am something else. She stood, smoothed her skirt. I warned him once. Some things don't end quietly. Poirot didn't speak, just watched her walk away. I leaned in. She didn't cry. She stared too long, Poirot said. She knew the body wouldn't move. The guard returned. No murder weapon found. No tracks. No time of death? I asked. Early morning, maybe, he replied. Poirot adjusted his cuffs. The chain, the shoes, the perfect pose. He whispered, he didn't die here. Poirot scanned the branches. His eyes stopped. There, he said. He pointed to a low limb. Something white fluttered. He pulled out a handkerchief, plucked it gently. A scrap of lace, I said. He nodded. He turned it in his fingers. Delicate, frayed edges, one brown stain near the corner. Blood? I asked. Dried, he said. Older than the blood on Carlos. He held it to the light. Fine work, hand-stitched, not ordinary cloth. Could be Lucia's? Could be. We walked toward the nearby fence. A guard watched us but said nothing. Poirot folded the lace carefully, slipped it into his pocket. Not from the dress, he murmured. From a mantilla, a bridal veil. I frowned. Lucia may have fought him. She left early, he said, before he died. So someone planted this. He didn't answer. Footsteps approached. Rosa again, still in black, still composed. She looked at us, then at Poirot's hand. You found something. He nodded. I often do. She stepped closer, eyes on the branch. You think she was here? She said. Poirot raised a na-sham eyebrow. Should I? She's the bride. That's her veil. No, he said quietly. Not exactly. Rosa's jaw tightened. She looked at the cloth again. You chase truth, she said. It kills faster than knives. Poirot didn't blink. I'm used to wounds. She stared at him, then turned and walked off. I moved beside him. She's watching every step you take. She's not the only one. Poirot looked back at the branch. No tear marks on the bark, he noted. It was placed, not snagged. So it's staged? Staged or stolen? I folded my arms. You think it wasn't Lucia's? He shook his head. I think it was Lucia's veil. Then he paused. But she didn't wear it today. I didn't follow. Who else would? Poirot stared down the grove path. The question, he said, is not who owns the veil. I waited. He turned toward me. But who wore it? I stayed silent. Poirot touched his pocket again. Someone wore the bride's veil. He narrowed his eyes. Who wasn't the bride? We entered the Morales house. No greetings, no warmth. Isabella stood straight, hands folded, eyes sharp. You have questions, she said. Poirot gave a small nod. I always do. She didn't invite us to sit, didn't blink. When did you last see Lucia? He asked. Last night, before bed. She said anything strange? No. Was she nervous? She was quiet. A pause. Too quiet. Poirot tilted his head. Was that unusual? She listens more than she speaks. I stepped in. Did you sleep in the same room? Yes. And this morning? I woke early. She was gone. What time? Poirot asked. Before dawn. You didn't look for her? I thought she went to the church. Brides rise early. A shrug. She didn't care how it sounded. Poirot studied her. You found nothing odd? She looked away, then back. I heard something. Poirot's voice dropped. What? Footsteps, outside the window. When? Maybe an hour after she left. Just footsteps? 2 people, one heavy, one light. A pause. Didn't check. I frowned. Why not? I didn't want to know. Still no emotion. Poirot stepped closer. Is it fear or guilt? She met his gaze. I'm not afraid. Then why lie? I'm not lying. He raised a brow. Half-truths still hide something. She looked at the door, then back. I don't know what she did. A beat. But if she ran, she had her reasons. Such as, she didn't want to be owned. Her voice cut clean. I asked, was Carlos controlling? He wanted power, not a wife. Poirot nodded slowly. And Miguel? What about him? They were close. Years ago. Still? Her jaw tensed. I don't know. You're protecting someone, Poirot said. She didn't answer. Poirot turned to leave. At the door, he looked back. She left early. He tapped his chin. You heard 2 people. A pause. You're calm. I don't cry for gossip, she replied. He studied her face, then said, she's not hiding the truth. She's hiding someone else's. Father Mateo greeted us with a nod. No handshake, no blessing. Poirot got straight to it. You spoke with Carlos recently? Yes. The priest's voice was steady. He came 2 nights ago. Confession. What did he say? I cannot share those words. He paused, but after, we spoke outside. Poirot waited. He asked me a question. The priest continued. If a man knows something, a secret, and that secret could destroy another, is he bound to keep it? Poirot's eyes narrowed. And your answer? I said some truths protect, some ruin. One must weigh the harm. Poirot folded his arms. Did he say who the secret concerned? No. The priest looked tired, but his voice shook. I leaned in. He seemed afraid? No. The priest said, burdened, heavy. Guilt? Not his own. The priest replied, that's what disturbed me. Poirot stepped forward. Did you see him again? Yes, in the plaza, that same evening. Was he alone? Number someone waited near the church gate. Who? I don't know. The priest frowned. She wore black, pulled her shawl tight, didn't want to be seen. A woman? Poirot asked. Small frame, light steps. She turned away before I could approach. Could it have been Lucia? I'm not sure. Or Rosa? I asked. He hesitated. Possibly, but I won't guess. Poirot kept his gaze on the priest. You've seen many confessions. Was this one different? Yes. In what way? It felt like a warning. Poirot tilted his head. Did Carlos say he feared anyone? Not directly, but he feared something? The priest was quiet. Then he whispered. He feared someone close, too close. Rosa stood in her courtyard. Washing hung behind her. 2 men's shirts, still damp. Poirot pointed. Miguel's. She nodded. Who else? You washed them today? I wash early. She didn't blink. Before the village wakes. Before the murder was known. Poirot said. I don't follow. You will. He replied. He stepped closer, pulled a small glass from his pocket, brushed one sleeve, showed her the result. Almond pollen, he said. She didn't react. He pointed to the collar. Lace fiber, very fine, same as the torn veil. She crossed her arms. Miguel works in the groves. Petals stick. Pollen floats. True. Poirot looked at the fabric again, but not lace. That clings only if touched directly. I don't do his laundry by crime scene. She snapped. Did you touch the veil? He asked. No. He turned to me. Miguel didn't leave the house after sunrise. The body was already cooling, so someone else wore this, near the tree, where the lace was found. Rosa's lips thinned. You think it was me. I think someone handled these clothes after touching lace. And you think that someone was a woman. Poirot didn't answer. She took a step forward. Lucia poisoned everything. How so? She ruined Miguel, Carlos, the family name, all for her thrill. You resent her. I pity her. That's not what you sound like. She didn't speak. Poirot stared at the shirts again. You said you washed them early. I did. Then why are they still damp? She looked to the line. The sun didn't hit them yet. But you hung them in shade, he said, not like someone proud of clean work, more like someone hiding something. Her face froze. I asked, You're sure Miguel wore both? I said they're his. But who wore them last? She didn't answer. Poirot stepped closer, gently took her wrist, turned her hand. 3 faint scratches across the palm. He raised his eyes. You touched something sharp, he said. A branch? A thorn? A body? Her mouth stayed shut, but her fingers curled inward. Poirot let go, stepped back. No, he said softly. Lucia didn't poison everything. He paused. Someone else handled these clothes. Pilar Perez opened the door. Tired eyes, flat tone, no welcome. We only need a moment, Poirot said. She stepped aside, didn't offer tea, didn't sit. He began. Your brother. He was up early? Yes. What did he say? He said he was going to the Grove. For the photographs. That's all? No. She paused. He was different. How? Focused, cold, determined. Poirot raised an eyebrow. Determined to do what? I don't know. He waited. She added, he had doubts about the marriage. From when? Weeks ago. Why continue it? She glanced at a photo on the mantel. Because of me. You persuaded him? Poirot asked. He was embarrassed, angry. People talked about Lucia and Miguel. What did you tell him? That breaking the engagement would make him look weak, and staying with her made him proud. No, she said, but it made him feel in control, even if he suspected she loved someone else. He didn't care. You're sure? She stared hard. Carlos didn't care who she loved. He cared who she belonged to. Possession? Yes. Love? No. I asked, did he ever confront Lucia? She shook her head. Not directly. He wanted to wait. Wait for what? The wedding? She said. Poirot frowned. He planned to stand beside a woman he didn't trust. He wanted to prove she'd kneel anyway. A display? Yes. Did he speak of Miguel? Once. What did he say? That the village would remember which man she chose in the end. Poirot tapped his fingers together. Did he say what he'd do if she backed out? He laughed. Why? He thought she didn't have the courage. And if she did? He said, it wouldn't matter. Silence. Poirot asked, what happened that morning? I heard him rise. He dressed early. Too early. Did he say anything? She nodded. One thing. What? Her voice didn't change. He said he planned to confront her. Poirot stilled. When? She answered. At dawn. 2 farm hands sat under a wall, almond shells in a basket, hands moving, eyes cautious. Poirot approached. They stood, one older, one young. You work the Grove? Poirot asked. Every day, the older one said. This morning too? Yes. Before sunrise. Same as always. You saw Carlos? Yes. Just past the lower row. What time? Early. Sun wasn't up yet. Did he speak? He asked if we'd seen anyone. Had you? No. Where did he go next? Up the path. Toward the higher trees. Poirot nodded. And after that? The younger one hesitated, then said, we heard voices. Male. Both. A man and a woman. Can you describe them? The man was calm. Steady voice. And the woman? Sharp. Fast. Sounded angry. Could you hear words? Number just tone. Could you tell who it was? The older one shook his head. No names. But the woman wasn't crying. She was pushing him. Did he answer? Not much. Poirot leaned in. How long did it last? Not long. Then what? Silence. The younger one glanced at his hands. Then we heard a thud. He said, something heavy dropped. The housekeeper answered the door. Strong arms, stern face. Name, Doña Inés. Poirot didn't waste time. You were awake early? Always. I bake. Oven must be hot before sunrise. Did you see Lucia? Yes, around 5. She came to fetch water. Alone? Yes. Dressed? Plain shawl, not her gown. Did she speak? Number just nodded. Expression? Distracted, eyes far off. Did you see her leave? No. I turned to the oven. When I looked back, gone. She carry anything? Just the jug. Poirot pointed to the corner. Is that the one? Yes. He walked over, lifted the lid, cracked. He tapped the edge. It moved, loose. You dropped it? He asked. I didn't touch it. Then someone did. She shrugged. It works fine. I don't ask questions. Poirot examined the crack. Fresh. No dust inside. Shiny along the break. He held it toward me. Recent. I nodded. Poirot looked back at the housekeeper. She didn't take food? No. No bag? Nothing. He knelt. Checked the floor near the door. Ran his fingers along the step. What are you looking for? I asked. He picked up something small. A broken chip of clay. Same shade as the jug. He held it up. She dropped it. The housekeeper stepped closer. Then why not say anything? Because she didn't want to explain, Poirot said. To whom? He stood. To whoever was waiting outside. Waiting? I asked. He tapped the jug. She left in a hurry. Another pause. No sign of return. Ran off with Miguel? Poirot shook his head. She didn't run for love. Then for what? He didn't answer. He placed the lid back, turned to me. Someone dropped it. He looked at the door. Running out. We returned to the church. Father Mateo waited near the vestry. Poirot spoke first. One more question, Father. The priest folded his hands. Of course. This morning, before the bells, did you see Rosa? The priest paused. Yes. Where? Near the side door, just after 5. Alone? Yes. Did she speak? Number she didn't see me. Where had she come from? I don't know. She was leaving. Poirot leaned forward. What was she carrying? The priest hesitated. A bundle, covered by her shawl. Big? Not large, but enough to hold something folded. Like clothing? Possibly. Poirot's eyes narrowed. Describe her expression. Tense, fast steps, eyes down. Did she notice you? Number she turned sharply. Took the lane toward the grove. Poirot glanced at me, then back. You're sure it was Rosa? Yes. Did you recognize anything she carried? The priest exhaled. I saw the edge of it. What did it look like? He didn't answer immediately, then spoke low. It looked like white lace. Poirot spread 2 pieces of lace on the table, one torn, one intact. From Lucia's wardrobe, Alvarez said. He stood back, hands behind his back. Poirot pointed to the veil. This is the fitted one, used in her last dress fitting? Yes, Alvarez replied. And the scrap? Alvarez leaned in. Not from this piece, different cut. Poirot nodded. So Lucia had 2 veils? Yes. The fitted one for the ceremony. Another, a spare. Where's the spare now? Alvarez blinked. It's missing. Poirot folded the torn scrap. Found near Carlos's body. Alvarez stiffened. You think she wore it? No. Poirot's voice was cold. I think someone wanted us to believe that. I stepped in. To stage her presence. Yes, Poirot said. To place her at the grove. To link her to the murder. Who knew about the spare veil? I asked. Someone close, Poirot said. Someone with access. I looked at the fitted veil. Clean. Untouched. No blood. No dust. Poirot tapped the scrap. Wrong weave, wrong edge. He turned to Alvarez. Who helped dress Lucia's room? Only family, Alvarez said. Her sister, her cousin. Her Aunt Poirot didn't blink. Rosa helped? Yes, 2 days ago. Poirot straightened. We confirm motive, opportunity, access. He looked at me. She took the spare. Then wore it? Yes. Poirot's voice was sharp. She wore it to be seen. To look like Lucia? Yes. To fool someone. Or draw someone out. I stepped back. She lured Carlos. Poirot nodded once, and someone believed he was meeting the bride. But he wasn't, I said. He was meeting a lie. Poirot turned to the door. It's time. For what? I asked. His eyes narrowed. We summon everyone. He picked up the lace. Tonight. Chairs formed a half-circle. The priest stood. The guard waited near the door. Pilar sat with her arms crossed. Isabella stared ahead. Rosa stood in the back. Lucia and Miguel were still missing. No one asked why. Poirot stood at the front. He didn't speak at first, just looked at each face, one by one. Then he began. Carlos Perez rose before dawn. He dressed with purpose. His sister says he meant to confront Lucia. Poirot nodded at Pilar. She confirmed it. He walked to the grove. 2 workers heard voices, male, female. He looked at the priest. You saw someone in black near the church. The priest nodded once. I did. Poirot continued. At the same time, Lucia was seen fetching water. He paused. By the housekeeper. She wore a plain shawl. She did not carry a veil. He held up a small folded cloth. This lace. He opened it. Was found near the body. Eyes shifted. No one spoke. Poirot went on. Lucia had 2 veils. This is not from the one fitted to her gown. He looked at Isabella. She didn't take it. He turned to Pilar. Nor did she. Someone entered her room, took the spare, wore it. He let the silence stretch. The question was, who wore the veil? He stepped forward. I now answer. Miguel is not the killer. He turned. Lucia is not the liar. He paused again. Slow, precise, measured. Then he looked at Rosa. You wore the veil. Rosa didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't speak. Poirot stepped closer. He held up the lace again. This was torn from the veil you took. The spare. The one Lucia never wore. He pointed at her sleeve. You wore black. You covered it. Still she didn't speak. Poirot turned to the guard. You examined Miguel's shirts. The guard nodded. Yes. Traces of lace. Pollen on both. Poirot turned back to Rosa. You washed them early, but not early enough. He stepped to the table, picked up a folded cloth. This one, he tapped it, was hanging damp, hidden in shade. Poirot looked at her hand. Scratches, left palm, defensive perhaps, or from dragging something, or someone. Still no reaction. Poirot circled slowly. Carlos believed Lucia betrayed him. He wanted to prove she wouldn't dare leave. He paused, but someone else wanted to stop the wedding. He faced Rosa. You. He kept going. You had access to Lucia's things. You helped prepare the room. You knew about the veil. You waited near the church. You wore the lace. You led Carlos to the grove. You made sure someone would see, hear, remember. You wanted him to believe it was Lucia. You knew he'd come. You made him think she wanted to speak. Poirot pointed at the ground. No signs of struggle around the body. He didn't resist, because he trusted the figure in front of him. He tapped his chest, until the blade struck, clean, close. He stepped back, his voice lowered. You loved him, but not quietly. You believed he would leave Lucia, for you. Poirot tilted his head, but he didn't. He chose someone else. You couldn't bear it. The room was silent. Rosa looked straight ahead, hands still, face blank. Then she spoke, voice low, flat, but sharp. He made me believe. Her jaw clenched, then threw me away. Rosa didn't cry. She didn't plead. She stood still, then spoke. I waited in the room, Lucia's room. No one saw me take the veil. Her voice stayed flat. I wore it. I made sure it showed under my shawl. Poirot stood silent. I walked to the grove. I knew he'd come. Carlos always came when pride was at stake. You lured him, Poirot said. Yes. He thought you were Lucia. He did. You said nothing? No, but I won't let him speak. What did he say? He asked if she forgave him. Rosa's hands were tight at her sides. I stood there, just stood. Then he saw it. My face. Poirot didn't interrupt. He paused, confused, then angry. What did you feel? Nothing. Then, everything. You stabbed him? Yes. Once. She nodded. Straight through. He gasped, then dropped. Why? He said I was nothing. Her voice tightened. He said I'd always be second. Poirot moved closer. You wanted him to suffer? No, she said. I wanted him to know. Pause. He could have had me, but he chose someone who didn't want him. And afterward, I walked back, quietly, hid the veil, washed the shirts. She looked at the floor. I thought if Lucia ran and Miguel vanished, they'd be blamed. Poirot gave a small nod. You knew the village would finish the story for you. She looked at him once. People believe what they want. I just gave them a push. The guard stepped forward, hands ready. Poirot raised his hand. Gently. They moved to her sides. No cuffs, no resistance. She walked, without a word, eyes ahead, chin high. The door closed behind her. I exhaled. It's over. Poirot shook his head. No, Hastings. He turned slowly. There's still one thing left. 2 weeks passed. No sign of Lucia, no word from Miguel. Then a letter, folded, unmarked, delivered by hand. Poirot opened it, read every word, said nothing, then handed it to me. I read aloud. Monsieur Poirot, by now you know what happened. You know Rosa wore the veil, that Carlos is dead. But perhaps you still wonder why we ran. I looked up. Poirot gave a small nod. I continued. Miguel and I did not flee because we were guilty. We fled because we knew what would follow. The village would not ask questions. It would pass judgment. And it would bury us with gossip before we had a chance to speak. Poirot folded his arms, eyes on the table. I read on. Our love was never allowed, not by our families, not by the land, not by the past. Carlos was never my choice. I accepted him out of pressure, obligation, but Miguel was real. I looked again at Poirot, still silent, still listening. I kept reading. We said goodbye the night before. I was going to walk to the church. I didn't make it. I saw something that stopped me. Poirot leaned forward, just slightly. I continued. I saw a woman in black. She walked ahead of me. She wore my veil. She didn't see me, but I saw her. And I knew something was wrong. I paused. Poirot nodded. I turned back. I found Miguel. We left before sunrise. We weren't running from murder. We were running from what would come after. From people who would say love was shame. I read the last line. If they knew the truth, they'd never let us be free. I lowered the letter, looked at Poirot. He didn't move, didn't speak. His eyes were still on the page, hands folded, calm. Then he closed the letter, slowly, precisely. She loved him, I said, enough to disappear. Poirot nodded. Yes. She saw Rosa. She didn't stop her. She couldn't, he replied. She didn't know what Rosa would do. She saw her wearing the veil. Yes. Poirot's voice was quiet. She knew it was dangerous. Pause. But she knew what the village would say. I folded the page again, laid it on the table. She chose escape. She chose survival, Poirot corrected. She chose freedom before blame. And Miguel? He went with her. Poirot stood, walked once across the room, then back. He looked at me. It was never forbidden love that killed Carlos. He tapped the envelope. It was pride. A pause. Rosa's pride. Carlos's pride. The village's pride. I nodded. He said, Lucia wanted peace, but she was born into a place that only understands control. I glanced at the envelope. Do we reply? No. They'll never come back, will they? No. Silence. Poirot reached for the envelope. It rustled in his hand, then stopped. A second slip fell out, thin, unmarked. He picked it up, unfolded it. No signature, no greeting, just 7 words. He wasn't the only one she loved.